Hey family, happy hump day, happy hump day, happy hump day. Yes, 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 yes. Today, I got off to a really early start. It is like 1 a.m. Wednesday morning because I wanted y'all to get this fresh. And besides, I'm a night owl, but most people that know me know I'm a night owl. Welcome, 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 welcome to the comfort zone. Oh my, it is the last Wednesday of Black History Month. So, in honor of Black History Month, I'm wearing this t-shirt, this sweatshirt, sorry, hoodie. It says "We Rise" if you can't see it. And I want you to look at the graphic for this, if you can see it. It is a fifth that is rising out of the roots of the tree, grabbing onto the flower that is growing from the root. We rise. I want to share a little story with you about this sweatshirt. So, as we all know, that there's a lot of businesses that have pulled back their DEI initiatives, and there seems to be an uproar in the community about it. And there's some things that we are doing as a people, as a culture, because we take issue with some of these things that are going on. This sweatshirt I bought from Target. I was a big Target supporter because Target, I liked Target before, and then when they started to incorporate DEI initiatives and they were showcasing and had artists, especially during Black History Month, have their products. They showcase people of color and the products that they were making clothing, sweatshirts, cards, all kind of products, books that were being sold for Black History Month. And they had the displays right in the front of the store. So as soon as you walked in, you were able to see what was available for Black History Month. And I remember one time the cashier said to me, "Well, you know, this stuff is here by in January. You actually can come get this, begin to get these products in January." I didn't know that. So anyway, this is one of the first Black History Month products I bought by a Black designer. I do not remember this young man's name, but I saw this and this spoke to me. And I wanted my whole family to take part in Black History Month. So I bought sweatshirts for everyone. I think that year, I think I bought 10. I think I bought 10 sweatshirts. I didn't want anybody to have to go to Target to get it, so I bought it for them in everybody's sizes. And I asked my family, who lives in various places, Tennessee and Georgia, to put the sweatshirts on, take pictures in the sweatshirt, send it to me, and then I put it on the Target website because they wanted us hashtag them, because it was this big deal. So imagine, and then I did this 2 years in a row, 2 or 3 years in a row, that I bought products from them. And because they were honoring people during Black History Month, they were honoring Latinos during the Hispanic month, during their month of LGBTQ community in the month of May. So it was very progressive, and I was so really proud of Target for doing stuff like this. So imagine my surprise when I see that their company is on the list of people that are reversing their policy. I was very, very disappointed in the fact that I thought that they realized, because remember what I just said. I walked in there and bought 10 hoodies. And the next year, I bought 15 t shirts. And the young lady, I have her in my phone, the young lady who made the shirt and designed it gave her credit online, went to her page and everything to give her credit about, I think her name was Ann Potts. I think that was her name. And gave her credit about the design of her shirt. So in these respects, I truly understand us supporting our people and the things that they do. And you want to be connected with businesses that feel the same way. But when you find out that they were just doing it to increase their bottom line and they really don't care about you, it hurts. It's disappointing. So I wore this for a couple of reasons. One, because it's the last Wednesday of Black History Month. And number two, because I always want to remind you that we rise. No matter what the situation is, no matter what is going on, no matter who we think might be causing havoc and trouble in our lives, we rise. We are kings and queens of the Most High. We have ancestors that have paved the way for us and have done things and have sacrificed their lives, sacrificed their comfortability, sacrificed, in a lot of cases, their well being so that we can have the comforts that we have. Don't ever forget. Don't ever forget what our ancestors, our people have gone through to bring us to the point that we are here today. So that's my PSA announcement. I'm sorry, I said I wasn't going to talk about this stuff, but I put this on and I feel some kind of way because I really, really thought Target was going to be better. I did. That was my case of me being naive. Oh well, I'm not the only one. So let's get to it. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Remember now, this is the place where you can come and you begin to figure out if you're ready to step in or out of your comfort zone. I'm here to help you. I'm your host, Donna E. Williams. Loving you, loving you, loving you, loving it today. So today I want to talk about something that might step on a few people's toes, including my own. Like I picked up something that's gonna step on my own toes. Let's take a deep breath before I start talking about this subject. So, what I love about the comfort zone and the possibilities of your comfort zone is that there are many subjects to this. You can talk about any and everything that affects your life and can make you comfortable or uncomfortable. So today's topic, we're going to talk about comfortable toxic relationships. Ooh, y'all ready? I'm not ready. And I brought it up. But anyway, comfortable toxic relationships, self-esteem, value, worthiness, all of these things that play a role in being comfortable in a toxic relationship. I've had my share of toxic relationships. Now, toxic is relative to whoever's going through it. I may explain to you about a relationship that I had. That's not toxic. It's not toxic to you, but it may be toxic to me. And so people do not have the right, when they hear your story, agree with it or not, do not have the right to tell you what it is or it is not for you. That's number one. So if something you consider to be toxic and abusive, more than likely it is. If it's not the way you want to be treated, and if you find yourself in a situation where you're wondering, should I stay in this relationship? I always say, if you have to ask the question, you already know the answer. And the answer is no. I will bet you the answer has always been no. But you don't know how to get out of it. You're not sure if you'll be able to move forward. You feel like, if I leave this relationship, will I get another one? Will I find another person? Well, you can do bad by yourself. You don't need any assistance. And if you're going to do bad by yourself, you can do good by yourself too. You could be better by yourself. You could be the best version of you that you can be by yourself. Is it easy? Absolutely not. Oh, no, 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 no. It is not easy by any stretch of the imagination, and it takes work. It takes a tremendous amount of work, and it takes commitment. It takes determination, and it takes intention. My favorite word, intention. But first, you have to recognize when you are in a toxic relationship. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is a love relationship. Doesn't mean that it's between a man or a woman, 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 man, man. Doesn't matter. It doesn't mean those are the type of relationships I'm talking about. They're not the only relationships I'm talking about. It could be the relationship that you have with, on your job. It could be the relationship that you have with a coworker. It could be the relationship that you have with a family member or several family members. Doesn't have to be just one. It could be a few. Okay. It could be the relationship that you have with your friends or who you think are your friends. Recently, someone that I'm connected with on Facebook called out their besties and told them they was full of that number two word. I'm not gonna cuss on this. I'm gonna do my best not to cuss on this podcast. But she called them out. I said, "Ooh, that's deep." Now you called your besties out and said they ain't who they say they who they claim to be. Well, then that means you need to rethink that relationship. They're not who you think they are to you, and definitely not. They don't. They're not who they say they are for you as well. So when you look at these kind of situations, you have to ask yourself, what's my next move? How do I how do I step away from these type of relationships? So first I had to recognize that that's what it was. The relationships I'm speaking of, I will be speaking of my intimate relationship when I was involved with men, my boyfriends. So I'm not going to mention any names because I don't know who's going to be watching this podcast and they might go back and tell the person. That could be a problem. So I don't want that smoke. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that smoke. I don't want to get that smoke and I don't want that smoke. So anyway, so we're not going to say any names. But I was in a relationship with someone and this person and I thought we were having a great relationship. I thought our relationship was going very well. But I'm gonna tell you something. Most of my relationships, I always think the relationship is going well, and that in itself is like something you need to think about. Like, well, Donna, what's going on with that? Because I'm a very upfront and direct person, and my challenge is that I believe other people are the same way. So if you have a problem with me, you should tell me that you have a problem with me. Let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. I'm not an unreasonable person most times. I'm serious. I'm kidding. I'm not an unreasonable person. You talk to me, I can have a conversation with you. We can talk about it. Figure out what we're going to do. But what ends up happening a lot of times is people don't tell you when things aren't going well. They don't share with you when they're not feeling the same way about you anymore. And you don't know that something has shifted. Well, the relationship I was in with this person, I did know when things shifted, but I didn't know why. I didn't know what had happened to cause the shift in our relationship. All I knew was that You and women always know. We know when we're not getting the same loving anymore. We're not getting the same conversation. Answers sometimes leave a little short. People act as if they're annoyed that you're talking to them or asking them something or want to spend time with them. So it's like, what's really going on? And that's when our spidey senses start tingling. And we as women, we have spidey senses and we know when something's not right. So there were things that were going on in the relationship and I knew they weren't right. And I got to the point where I realized that it was time to move on. And when I wanted to move on, the person I was with decided he didn't want me to move on. So he tried to do everything he could, everything I had been asking to be done throughout the course of the relationship. He decided to do it all in a couple of days. Everything: shopping, washing clothes, cleaning the house, all kinds of things to show me that, wow, I've really been listening, I've been paying attention, but it was just a little too late. Because in my mind, if it took you that long to finally realize that this is what you need to do to keep me, it just made me angry actually, because it was like, you could have been done this and things could have been worked out a lot sooner, but you decided not to. So it's okay. And I also realized something very important at that point in my relationship. I had to ask myself, was it more important for me to say that I was in a relationship and had a man, or was it more important for me to be able to stand on my? Was it more important for me to have peace? Because the relationship was toxic because he was cheating, and he been cheating for a while. I just didn't know. I didn't want to know. Sometimes you know things are going on, but you're not sure, and you kind of giving the person the benefit of the doubt because you're like, come on, we making moves, we making strides, we trying to elevate, level up, like I said last week. But not everybody's on board with you. Not everybody wants what you want. But my self esteem took a beating. It took a beating. My value took a beating. It took me a while. It took me years to build back up. This relationship devastated me. And at the time, I didn't realize how devastated I was because I was so busy pushing it down, trying to just move forward. Because, see, the majority of my life, I was always about just getting it done. And when that relationship ended, I moved on and just did what I was supposed to do in order to get to the next phase of whatever my life was going to be. Didn't take time to heal, didn't take time to process, didn't take time to find out what it is that I was going to do differently the next time. Because it wasn't about right or wrong. And when we try to make it about right or wrong, we're already we're already doing the wrong thing. I have to say that because it's not about that. It's about the role that you play in the relationship, the responsibility that you take for your role in the relationship, and what you're going to do about the next relationship, what you're not going to bring into the next relationship. So that's the healing part. Because if you don't really heal, if you don't take the time to find out those three things, you're doomed to make the same mistake again. Because you're just going to bring all of that baggage from that relationship into the next relationship. And you're going to subject the next person to it. And they don't deserve it because they didn't sign up for that. They signed up for somebody they felt was whole and ready to be a partner, not someone they was going to have to lift up, carry, and drag through the process of healing. So I didn't consider those things. I just moved on to the next thing. I had to move back home with my mother, and I was devastated because I had left. I was grown. When I had left, I was grown, doing my thing, and like I said, working to level up. I had to move back home with my mom. But I made a plan. I made a plan to be out and in my own house by, oh, I forgot how many years it was. I made a plan and I created what I needed to do to make that plan happen. I still hadn't healed. See, I wasn't talking to therapists then. I didn't want to know anything about talking to a therapist. I needed a therapist at that time, but I thought I could handle it. I thought I could fix it. I thought I was okay. And I wasn't. I didn't realize how much of a beating my self esteem took. I did some things and I made some choices that were very, very bad. Fortunately, I'm here. I'm still alive, but I made bad choices. And so I took what was toxic and I made it even more toxic by some of the choices I was making. But you know, as 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 a man or woman that may be listening to this podcast, you know when there's things that you should be doing differently. You know when your life is not looking the way you want it to look. You know when it's time to make better choices. And you should stop, sit down, take the time to figure out what those choices should be. And if you need help getting there, get the help. If you need to find a therapist, find a therapist. If you need a coach to help you get unstuck, I'm a coach. That's what I do. I'm a life coach. My business is Life Chef. You see it up there in the corner. Chef stands for creating healthy experiences forever. I can help you get unstuck. I've been there. I took the time, and it took me longer because I wasn't in therapy, because I didn't have someone to bounce these things off of. And I had to realize the choices that I had to make for myself. I had to choose me. I had to I had to go through the process of choosing me. When your self-esteem and your value is at an all-time low, you believe that you're worthy of everything that you get. No matter what you believe, the good or the bad, both are true because it's what you believe that comes through. It's what you believe about yourself. But you can always turn that belief around. If you believe you're not worthy, you can turn that belief around to being worthy. And it's just as simple as saying, I am worthy. I am expensive. I am loved. It's just as simple as telling yourself these things every single day. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, hey, beautiful. Hey, handsome. Hey, gorgeous. Let's make it a good day today. I love you. It's really simple. It doesn't have to take a lot, but you need to be consistent because it takes time to turn it around, to believe, to believe that you are worthy, to change your mindset about who you are and how you show up. So, as I began to do those things and work harder with making my life about me and raising that beautiful 12-year-old, because all of these things happened before that, but it put me in a position to be a better person for her. I didn't even know that that was going to be the case because this happened way before this situation ever came about. But you just never know how things are going to work in life. And because of that, you always got to be on top of your game. You always got to be on top of your game because you just never know how it's going to work out. Fortunately for me, I did leave my mother's house. The plan I set forth, I did execute it, and I did move. But there were still so many things that I didn't fix. There were many things that were part of this toxic relationship that I had with not just myself and the person I was involved with, but other parts of my life that were toxic that I needed to change. But I wasn't aware. I thought I was okay. I challenge you to ask yourself those questions. Are you okay? Are you a part of it? Are you involved in a toxic relationship with yourself or with someone else? Do you even realize if you are? Because you may not. You may think that I'm good because I've been good. Nobody said anything to me. Not everybody's going to check you. Sometimes you got to check yourself because you know. Ask yourself about your relationships. Ask somebody that you trust and that you know will give you the honest answer, not the cosign answer, the honest answer, and that will be willing to give you the facts about how they see your life. I had friends like that. And when I asked them, they told me. It was very hard to hear. But that's because, you think you're all right. But if you really take the time to listen, to process, and to really absorb what they're saying, you'll realize that you got some work to do. And I challenge you to get to it. Get to the work. Go do what you got to do. Level up to be the next best version of you that you can be. So here's what I want to leave you with today. I told you in the first episode that I challenge people to send me an ending that they would like for me to say at the end of my episode. And I do have one. Someone sent me one. So I'm going to read that to you. And we're going to end the podcast. So, person wrote, the magic happens when you step beyond your comfort zone. So challenge yourself, embrace the unknown, and I'll catch you on the next one. That was submitted by my wonderful, wonderful cousin, Darashawn Williams. I told you I would give you credit. If you wrote it, I'll give you credit. That's who it was submitted by. He's always in my corner. That's my ride or die. Oh, man. He tells me when I'm right and he tells me when I'm wrong. He's one of those people that I can go to and he can come to me. And that's how we roll. So I will see you all next week. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.